Good morning, guys. Welcome to this second virtual session. How are you? Can you hear me? Please write me in your comments if you hear me well, because we are going to start this second session. I can see that some of you are already online. Welcome to all of you, and we are going to start. Um, I also read in your comments that you have problems with Schoology, yeah. So the platform has suffered a lot of problems because of the amount of users. Imagine, not only in Mexico, maybe around the world who are using it. So don't worry about it. Remember that the activities in all the subjects, they don't have a deadline. So you can do it little by little. Okay, so welcome to all of you. I'm so glad to be, well, at least in this online session with you, but let's start. Okay, well, the last class we check a topic that had to do with um, difficulties in consolidating the nation. Okay, and in this session we talk about the first empire that actually was considered the first Mexican government, but it wasn't a republic, it was an empire. Why? Because Agustin de Iturbide, remember this man, who was in charge of the army of the three guarantees and the consolidator of the independence in Mexico. Well, he was appointed by a Congress as the first emperor of Mexico. Okay, this empire only existed during 9 months, and well, he made terrible mistakes like increasing the taxes, eliminating the freedom of press, and others. And well, with this plan of Casamata, well, he was exiled with his family and declared as a betrayer and public enemy. So this is just to summarize. Well, but now we're going to check a new topic that it's quite interesting. And remember that please you need to be respectful in your comments, and try to make this session interactive. Okay, so let's start. Welcome to all of you. Good morning. Thanks for your punctuality, and let's start. So this is our second virtual session, and the topic for this is the threat of reconquest and trying to colonize North. We are checking two topics at the same time, okay? Because they are very short and easy to understand. So my suggestion for you in this moment is that please have your book close to you because you are going to use it, okay? Maybe you're not writing anything. Well, if you want to take some notes, well, you can do it. If not, well, this video is going to be available in my channel. But at least have your book close to you, and we are going to use it. After some questions that we will have at this moment, I will tell you which page you are using it, okay? So now, do you have any doubt? Well, you didn't tell me if you hear me well or not. So write me in your comments. Is it clear? Welcome to all of you. Now we are 47 online. Welcome to all of you. Thanks for your punctuality. Let's start. This is our second and final session. Well, virtual session. Later we will have more because of this situation, but let's start. Okay, yeah, well, and so we are checking two topics. I'm repeating, it's the threat of reconquest and trying to colonize North. So we start with some questions for you, and it says, look at the pictures and tell me which place is this. What can you say about this place? I will be showing you more pictures for you to identify this place. It's quite easy because it's a place that we already mentioned, that we already saw in other sessions. And here we have more pictures. Which place is this? Write me in your comments. Maybe once in your life you have visited this place because it's quite interesting. It has a lot of history behind its walls. This is another picture. This one. So tell me, which place is this? Write me in your comments. Let's see. So which place is this? You said, okay, so Manny says La Cárcel. Well, yeah, it was a jail, okay? And Pepe wrote San Juan de Ulúa. Exactly. Very good, Dul. Okay, exactly. So to all of you who wrote San Juan de Ulúa, exactly. You are completely right. And, well, why am I mentioning again this place? Well, I'm going to tell you some history about this place because it's related to this topic. So this place is San Juan de Ulúa. Okay, remember that some sessions ago, maybe some months ago, I told you the legend of the name of this place, okay? But why is this place important in this topic that it's called the threat of reconquest of where? Well, because this place was considered the last bastion of the Spanish troops. And what's a bastion? Well, a fortification, a fortress. Remember that with the consummation of the independence, well, some Spaniards were expelled. They were expelled, and well, this was the last place with Spaniards possession. Okay, and well, when this situation took place, well, in the year 1825. Okay, well, I will tell you more about this, but remember the legend of this place. Well, this place was called like this because remember that when the Spaniards arrived with their expeditions, with this man called Juan de Grijalva, remember that, well, they observed a group of indigenous performing a sacrifice, and well, they when they ask the indigenous or the natives who did those sacrifices, they answer the Kulua, Kulua with C. And well, the Spaniards understood Ulua. And well, later they named this place San Juan de Ulúa thanks to Juan de Grijalva and the name that they heard from the indigenous. Okay, and that place was built in 1535. And well, there, if we go to that place, we can hear lots of legends, including this, the La Mulata de Córdoba, and the legend of Chucho el Roto. Okay, but why is this place also famous for? Well, because several figures of the history, like this man called Fray Servando Teresa de Mier, a person who participated in the independence, and well, Benito Juarez, that's another figure that we are going to learn about, well, they were imprisoned. They were imprisoned in this jail. Okay, and well, I will continue. Okay, so then give me a second. I'm returning. Okay, so there was an attempt to recover New Spain and other territories because remember, when with the independence, Spain lost the viceroyalty of New Spain. They lost it, and Spaniards wanted to recover these territories, okay? between 1821 to 1829. So there were different attempts to recover these territories. Remember, with the Treaty of Cordoba that was signed by Iturbide and Juan O'Donoghue, the Spanish crown didn't recognize the consummation of the independence. Well, San Juan de Lua, as I mentioned, it was the last bastion or fortress of the Spanish troops. And in this place, there were only 200 soldiers in 1821. But in the following years, especially during Iturbide's government, that number of soldiers increased to 2,000. Okay, but well, the most serious attempt was in the year 1829, where Santana, remember that Santana was a soldier that belonged to the Royalists and later to the Army of the Three Guarantees. And Santana was one of the greatest figures because he defended our territory. Okay, well, let's make this more interactive. And now, please, open your book in these pages, okay? To study this lesson, please check pages 128 to 130, okay? So how is the dynamic of this session? Well, I'm going to show you some questions, okay, that have to do with this topic. And meanwhile, you are looking for the answers, okay? I will read it question by question, and if you find the answer, please write it in the chat, okay? So once more, I will show you some questions that have to do with this topic called the threat of reconquest and trying to colonize North. And you look for the answers in your book on pages 128 to 130. And if you found the answers, write them in the chat, please. Okay, so we start. Question number 1, and it says, there was a friar, remember, a friar in that reading, page 128, called Joaquin Arena. Joaquin Arena, sorry. And he got an idea related to our country. Which was that idea? Sam asked me if you have to copy the questions. Well, it's not necessary, okay? I want you to make this interactive, so it's better for you to look for the answers, and that's it, okay? Because this is a very short topic and easy to understand, so it's not necessary to copy the questions, okay? So you only look for the answers, write them, and we have comments about it, okay? And later, well, if you want to copy the questions, you can go to my channel and look for the video and write them, okay? And it says Pepe, governed again by Spain, okay? And Carol says, be governed again by the Spaniard, okay? Very good, exactly. As well as Jamel, that the country was governed again by Spain, exactly, okay? And that's exactly the answer, okay? So this friar called Joaquin Arenas thought that it was necessary that Mexico should be governed again by the Spanish Empire. Why? Remember, just to refresh our mind. Spaniards lost the viceroyalty of New Spain, that now it's our Mexico, okay? They lost this territory and others with the independence, with the consummation of the independence in 1821. So they lost these territories. And according to this friar, he thought that Mexico should be governed again by the Spanish Empire. Okay, very good. Thanks to all of you who answered, okay? And I think all of you were correct. Congratulations. Second question. And we have it here. And it says, What was vital for the new Mexican Republic? Uh-huh. What was vital for the new Mexican Republic? Well, actually, before being considered a republic, remember that Mexico was an empire first. During Iturbide government, Mexico was an empire, not a republic. But after his government, and with the first president called Guadalupe Victoria, now Mexico became a republic. So, but what was vital for this new republic? Tell me, what was vital for this new Mexican republic? And it says, Yamel and Murillo wrote, obtain recognition of other countries, okay? Okay, as well as Carol and Emily obtain recognition. Okay, very good. Obtain recognition of other countries. Okay, well, let's see. And it says, ever, to sign treaties with other countries. Well, that was part of that, because remember that during Guadalupe Victoria's government, he established diplomatic relationships with other countries. Okay, so that was part of it. Okay, so I think all of you agreed with obtain recognition of other countries. Okay, let's see if you are correct. And it says, obtain recognition of other countries and establish, as ever mentioned it, diplomatic and commercial relations. Okay, so that was vital for the new Mexican Republic to be recognized by other countries and to establish diplomatic and commercial relations. Very good. Now, question number 3. Talking about the attempts to recover New Spain, well, now Mexico, who defeat the last attempt to reconquer? Which characters, which figures defended our territory from the last attempt to recover the New Spain, well, now Mexico? There were two important figures who defeat the last attempt to reconquer. So that's why this topic is called the threat of reconquest. La amenaza de la reconquista. Okay? So, but who defeat the last attempt to reconquer? So, look for the answer. There were two figures. Remember, between 1821 to 1829, there were several attempts from Spain to recover Mexico, okay? Because in the past, this territory belonged to Spain. Remember that with the arrival of the Spaniards in 1519, they started with the conquest, okay, with Hernan Cortés and Montezuma, etc. And with the decline of Tenochtitlan, especially for 3B that performed this in the video, with the decline of Tenochtitlan in 1529, this territory of Mexico was named the Viceroyalty of New Spain. Okay, so Spain lost this territory with the consummation of the independence in 1821. So 300 later, Spain lost the Viceroyalty of New Spain, but there were different and several attempts to recover it because they wanted to lose it. And who were those two figures that defeat that last attempt? Let's see. And you wrote it. Renata wrote Antonio López de Santana and Manuel Mier y Terán. Okay. Santana, Emmanuel Mier. Okay, very good. I'm reading your comments, and I think all of you or most of you agree with the same answer. Okay, very good, friend, as well as Pepe, Rai, Liz. Okay, very good. Exactly. So this is the answer. Okay. Manuel Mier y Terán and Antonio López de Santana were the two figures that defeat the Spanish troops from recovering this territory. And, well, uh, remember that Santana belonged to the royalists in a certain moment. And, well, this is the story behind this attempt, okay? In that time, there was another president. That president was Vicente Guerrero. Do you remember Vicente Guerrero? He was a relevant figure in the resistance stage during the independence. So in that time, Vicente Guerrero was the president. And, well, he decreed or he established a law to expel all the Spaniards. And remember, San Juan de Ulúa was the last fortress with the Spaniards. And, well, there was an expedition organized in Cuba and disembarked in Veracruz, to be precise, in San Juan de Ulúa, okay? And knowing this, Santana decided to attack, okay? Well, Manuel Mier y Terán was born here in Puebla, and he was a soldier that support Santana against the attempt of reconquest, okay? So that's why these two figures were quite relevant in the defense of this last attempt to recover Mexico, okay? Well, now, next question, okay? And it says, now, I think this is part of page 129, okay? Because as I was telling you, we are checking two topics at the same time. So now we have question number 4. Which northern territories were practically uninhabited? Remember that in the first session that we had, talking about the pre-Hispanic world, remember that Mexico was divided in 3 parts: Oasis America, Arid America, and Mesoamerica. That was the part that we studied most, because it's the one where different cultures were established, okay? So Mexico was divided in 3 territories: Oasis America, Arid America, and Mesoamerica, okay? But there were some northern territories that were practically uninhabited. So which were those northern territories? And let's see. And it says, Yamel, Texas, New Mexico, California, okay, Chihuahua, and Sonora. As well as Juan Pablo, New Mexico, Texas, Paulina, Texas, New Mexico, the Californias, Chihuahua and Sonora, Everett, Texas, New Mexico, okay, so most of you agreed, okay, very good, and you are right, okay, so these were the territories that were practically uninhabited. Texas, New Mexico, the Californias, Chihuahua, and Sonora. Okay, but in these territories, due to there were not enough inhabitants, well, there were problems with some groups that were called Comanches and Apaches. Sorry. So now the next question is this: what did the Apaches and Comanches used to do? So the Apaches and Comanches, there were some indigenous groups that they were especially located in the northern territories of Mexico, but they had special features. So what did the Apaches and Comanches used to do? What did they do? Look for the answers. What did they do? What did the Apaches and Comanches used to do? Remember, the Apaches and Comanches, they were indigenous groups, okay? As in a moment where the Olmecs, the Mexicas, the Mayan, well, exactly the same were the Apaches and Comanches. But what did they used to do? And it says, Paulina, surviving and attacking towns and villages. Okay, very good. As well as Pepe and Carla and Sam. Okay, Yamel, very good. Ever. They attacked towns and villages of Creoles and Mestizos. Exactly, very good. So as you can see, because they used to attack, so they were considered as dangerous groups, okay? And I'm telling you a little bit about this, okay? So this was the answer. They lived in the north and attacked towns and villages of Creoles and Mestizos. And well, here you have some pictures of these, Apaches and Comanches. Well, I'm telling you a little bit about the Apaches. The Apaches was an indigenous group, as I previously mentioned it, and they used to live isolated in the mountains and sierras. Do you remember the sierras? This type of relief that we check in geography. So they used to live isolated in the mountains and sierras in the north of Mexico, the Apaches, okay? Well, now what about the Comanches? The Comanches was another indigenous group that lived especially in the north of the US and the south of Canada. And they practiced hunting, harvesting, and trade. But it is believed that the origin took place thanks to the interactions between indigenous of New Mexico and European colonists. So I think it has to do with miscegenation, okay? The interaction of people from New Mexico and Europeans. So this is miscegenation, okay? Their lifestyle was semi-nomadic and used to attack other towns, okay? So that's why they were considered as aggressive, bloodthirsty warriors, okay? And another practice that they used to do is to kidnap women and children, and they consider them part of their ethnic group, okay? Well, the Comanches kept the control over Texas and other places such as Tamaulipas, Nuevo León, and Coahuila. They were victims of their attacks. Okay, so as you can see, these groups were a little bit dangerous, aggressive, bloodthirsty. Okay, so well, and they used to attack villages and towns, especially in the north. Okay, and let's conclude this session with the last question. Okay, and it says, which document define the boundaries between the U.S. and New Spain? Which document define the boundaries between U.S. and New Spain? There was a document that established the boundaries between these two territories. And why? Maybe you are wondering why New Spain? Well, because we are returning a little bit. There was a document established a treaty established by the US and New Spain in that time, not Mexico yet, to establish the boundaries. And it says exactly the Adams-Onis Treaty. Exactly. That's the answer. Very good. So I'm telling you a little bit about this. Okay, so this treaty was proclaimed on February 22nd, 1819. That's why it is still called New Spain, not Mexico, because in 1819 it was still called New Spain because they were fighting for in favor of the independence. So New Spain was under the control of Spain. Well, so this treaty was proclaimed on February 22nd, 1819, and it was ratified in 1821. So remember, ratify means to be accepted, okay? Its name is thanks to the two representatives of Spain and the US respectively, okay? So this treaty was signed by two representatives, one from Spain, and because Spain was like the owner of New Spain, and the US, okay? Luis de Onis from Spain and John Quincy Adams from the US, okay? So these two characters signed this treaty called the Adams-Onis Treaty, and with this treaty, they established the boundaries between these two countries. And after the independence of Mexico in 1821, this same treaty was used to establish the boundaries between this rising country now called Mexico and the US. So, as you can see, this treaty was quite relevant because with this they established their territories, both the US and in that moment the New Spain. Okay, well, with this topic we have concluded. Just give me 2 minutes, okay? I'm going to summarize. So in the first part we talk about the last attempt to recover New Spain by Spain, because remember, Spain lost New Spain with the independence. Okay, so they wanted to recover it, but they were defeated by Santana and Manuel Mier y Terán. Okay, so that was the first part. And in the second, we studied a little bit about these two indigenous groups called the Apaches and Comanches, that they were wild, aggressive. They used to attack the villages and the towns, okay? And this treaty that was quite relevant to establish the boundaries between these two countries, in that moment called New Spain and the US, okay? So I'm concluding this session. I'm so glad to be here with you. And remember, well, please do your activities in Schoology. I know that there are lots of problems because in the connection, because of the users, but don't worry, you have enough time. I'm not establishing a deadline to deliver all of them. So at the moment that you are able to do it and to upload them, it's okay, no problem. Okay, so I wish you the best and we see you later. Okay, if you have any doubt, you can write me an email, and well, we see you soon. Have a nice day, guys, and thank you. Goodbye.